Hello everyone, we are going to talk about back pain today. There are various different reasons. People at least experience back pain once in their lifetime. It could be of many different reasons due to sedentary lifestyle, lack of physical activity, or going through some hormonal disbalance, especially in case of women during pregnancy. It can also be because of vitamin deficiency, especially B12 or vitamin D. There are self-detection methods of what exactly is happening in your spine, in your back, but it is recommended if you don't have the right knowledge that you consult a doctor, a physician, or an orthopedic doctor. Once you understand what exactly is the problem, is it coming from the muscles of the back are stiff, they don't have enough strength, or there is some degeneration happening in the disc. In case of degeneration, you have to make sure that you are eating right, the vitamin levels are normal, your blood count is normal, the hormones are in balance, you are not taking too much stress because that also hurts the healing process of the body. Now, in case you found out that there is some muscular imbalance, which is most common in today's world because there is lack of physical exercise, or even if they do physical exercise, the harmony between the left and the right side is not maintained because of doing incorrect postures if you are doing yoga, lifting the weights in a wrong manner if you are doing physical activity in the gym. In any case, the most fundamental approach here is you try to first identify where is the imbalance, whether on the left side or the right side, and try to both stretch and strengthen both the sides, especially focusing on the side which is more weaker. I especially try to categorize the activities that we are going to do in 3 different categories. One is loosen, which is we try to loosen up our muscles and our joints, especially of the back muscles and the joints. Then we try to stretch them. Once we have loosened all the muscles and the joint, we try to stretch them, and at the end we try to provide strength to those muscle and joints, because the spine is divided into 24 different bones. The neck portion is called cervical, the middle portion is called thoracic, the lower portion is called lumbar, and people especially are feeling today's pain in the neck because of using computer and phones too much, or in the lower back because of sitting too much rounded and there is lack of strength and flexibility in the lower back. Where exactly we can start? We can start with loosening our hip joints, because the hip joints is directly connected to our lower back. We all come up to standing and try to keep the hips a little wider than the hip width distance. Keeping the hands on the waist, you start moving first towards the left side. Only from the hip, you're moving towards the left side. Come back to center. In the front, not much arch in the lower back. You try to arch the lower back. Again, back to center, towards the right side, back to center, and towards the back to center. So this is the movement, the range of motion that the hip will be doing, but in a much smoother fashion. How it is done? You try to move left from here itself, you go towards the front, you go towards the right side, and you go towards the back. Left, front, right, back. Left, front, right, back. Make sure the no pressure comes on the knee. If your knees are hyper extending, try to keep them a little relaxed. Make sure you are breathing. And on the opposite side also. So we try to do 10 rounds on each side. It will really help you to make the hip joints more smooth. More blood circulation will come to the hip joint. And once you have done it, you slowly stop. The next one is side bends. In this, you can keep the distance 3.5 feet distance between both the feet. Try to keep the hands parallel to the ground, and we are doing side bend of the spine. because the spine moves in 4 different directions: sides, front and back, and also the rotation of the spine. So in that case, you lift the arms, you bend towards the right side and left side. Right, left, right, left, right. Same thing, you do 10 rounds of this exercise also, and at the last round you try to hold on the left side for a few breaths and breathe from the belly. Deep inhalation and exhalation through the belly. And towards the right side also, hold here, keep breathing from the belly. And come back to center, release the hands, release the legs. The third exercise is standing hip cars, in which you are doing controlled rotation. So in that case, you try to keep both the feet together, hands are on the waist, and you start with the right leg first. So you lift the right leg up, out to the side, rotate, in, and relax on the ground. Same way, anti-clockwise rotation. You lift the leg, bring it to the side, in the front, and down. More smooth movement, very controlled. You should feel the contraction on the right side of the hip joint. Same thing, 10 rounds on the right side, 10 rounds on the left side. If you are finding it difficult to balance on one leg, which for most people it is difficult, no problem. In that case, you just try to hold the ball with cup-shaped fingertips. Make sure you are not pushing the weight on the ball. You are just holding the ball, just a touch, then lift the leg up to the outside and then rotate inside. Same thing on the other side, 10 rounds of this exercise. And the last one in the section of loosening the joints and the muscle is your neck movement, which is you can keep the hands on the chest, make sure you're sitting upright, move the neck up and down. Make sure you're not compressing back of the spine, back of the neck, you're not dropping the neck. Make sure you feel the stretch in the front side of the neck. No pressure comes on the back. And same thing, you try to tuck the chin towards the chest. So focus on not moving the neck like this, but more tucked in and down. Tucked in and up. Tucked in and down. This also 10 rounds. After doing this, we move towards the stretching section, in which you try to stretch the muscles of the back and also your hip joint. People think that each and every body part is independent of each other. For example, something happens to my big toe, it will not affect my hips, it will not affect my spine. But that is incorrect. If my big toe starts going inside, my arch of the feet starts to collapse down, and as a result it starts affecting my knee joint, start affecting my hip joint, and as a result it starts affecting your spine as well. And for most people right now, what is happening, earlier people were able to sit in this very good stretch, which stretches not only your hips but also your back muscles, this malasana position. But right now, because of stiff knee, hips, they are not able to do it. And one of the most common culprits is our ankle joint, because in any kind of exercise that we do, there is not enough stretch that is given, or not enough focus that is given to the ankle. So what we'll do is, we'll try to take a block, place it against the wall and try to keep the toes on the block. Make sure the ball of the feet is still on the ground. It is not lifted like this. This thing has to be still on the ground. And you try to move the knee front and back. Front and back. You should feel a stretch at the back of the ankle and also on the toes. So when you move in the front, you should feel a stretch. Go to the comfortable limit and then come back. And then try to hold here for a few breaths. And then relax. Same thing you can do on the other side also. Make sure all the toes are on the block. If not, you can also use your fingers to adjust. Make sure the ball of the feet is on the ground and you move front and back. Front, back, 10 rounds, and at last you just hold here for a few breaths. Make sure the stretch is coming at the back of the ankle. So once we have stretched not only our ankles, we can also focus on our calf muscles and our hamstrings because it is directly connected to the spine. If you have stiff calf muscles, stiff hamstrings, you might have stiff lower back, and it might be the reason you are experiencing lower back pain. So in that case, what you do is you try to come up in this position. This is called single leg hip hinge, in which you try to place the hands on the waist. One leg is in the front. Make sure the hips are aligned. It is not moving out or it is not moving in. The hips are aligned. And you move front and up. Front and up. Look at my spine. The spine should not round like this. The spine has to be in a lengthened position. Make sure you are not like this. It is straight. That means you are moving from the hip joint, not from the lower back. No pressure should be felt in the lower back, and you are just moving here, moving dynamically here, providing both strength and flexibility in the hamstring muscles. Same thing, 10 rounds. You can also hold here at the last round and come up. On the other side also, go front and back, and at last hold. Keep breathing. Make sure you are breathing, and then come back up. Relax. Once you have tried this single leg hip hinge, you can also perform this wide-legged hip hinge, in which the hip distance is 3.5 feet distance. Both the feet are parallel, hands are on the waist, and you try to move front and up. Front and up. Make sure the knees are soft. They are not completely locked out. They're a little soft, no pressure on the knee, and same thing, the spine is not rounded. Keep breathing and then come up, relax. The last one in the stretch section is anjenyasana. So you come in this downward dog and then try to bring the right leg in between both the hands. Place the ankle flat onto the ground. Try to come on the fingertips and see if you can drive the knee a little forward and then relax. Keep breathing. Make sure no pressure on the neck, no pressure on the shoulders. You are just using your strength of the front hip, and the stretch is felt on the back side of the leg. If this stretch feels comfortable, you can also come up a little, not much, just a little. You're moving slowly and you just hold here for a few breaths. And same thing on the other side. Downward dog, left leg inside, anjenyasana on the left side, 30 seconds, and then again downward dog and relax. Now we are moving towards the strength section. And we first want to focus on the legs because that is where most of the strength of the upper body is coming from. That's where the grounding of the upper body is happening. So in that case, what you can do is you can perform chair pose against the wall. You are trying to keep the legs into this 90-degree position. You try to bring the back of the head also against the wall. Make sure there's no space in the lower back. And you just try to stay here. Keep breathing, keep the breath relaxed. No tension on the forehead and just keep breathing. One more variation that you can do here is, once you have attempted this, you can also try the narrow leg variation in which both the knees and the feet are together. Okay, same thing, no arch in the lower back, the back of the head is on the wall, and then you just breathe. Hold it comfortably from 30 seconds to 1 minute and use the support of the hands to come against, to relax. The second one in strength section is dhruta uttkatasana. So from malasana, we try to just lift our hips 90 degrees. We are not higher, we are not lower, we are just at 90-degree position. So it is making a 90-degree angle. Hands are in the front and you just try to hold this position. Make sure no tension again on the forehead. You are breathing comfortably. Hold this from same 30 seconds to 1 minute. It creates a lot of strength not only in your knees but also your hip joint. We have loosened, we have also stretched, so we have to also provide strength to our hip joint. You're breathing and then relax. So we have worked on giving strength to our knee, our hips, our thighs, and now we are slowly moving from bottom to top. We also work on the strength of the lower back. In that case, cobra pose is very good. You try to keep the legs a little wider than the hip width distance. Try to keep the forehead onto the mat and the hands are toward the side of the chest. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Make sure the shoulders are not towards the ears, they are away from the ears. And most of the weight is not on the hands, but your lower back is also doing the work. It is also supporting to lift the upper body up. Exhale, down. Same 10 rounds, and after 10 rounds, you can relax into child's pose. After relaxing, you try to wind down, come lie down on the back. Keep your hands completely flat onto the ground, shoulders rolled out. The legs are hip width distance apart. You lift the hips up for bridge pose. Exhale, down. 2. Exhale. 3. Hold here. Keep breathing. And exhale, down. Relax. Last one is Jatara Parivartan, spinal twist, because the spine also has to twist to maintain a healthy spine. Keep a block in between both the knees. Keep a little bit of pressure so that the knees do not move. Hands are to the side, making a T. You shift the legs towards the left side and then right side. Left and right. Left. Hold here for a few breaths. Keep breathing from the belly. And towards the right side. And slowly relax. From here, you can relax into Shavasana for a good 5 to 10 minutes. If you do this regularly, you will definitely experience a lot of opening, a lot of freedom in your lower back, in your whole of the spine. Your strength will increase in your legs, your flexibility will improve, and it will really help you to live a very joyful life. See you next time. Namaste.